Okay, see, it's 7 o'clock. At this time, I will call the April 5th, 2022 regular meeting of the King William County Planning Commission to come to order. Ms. Trimmer, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Sluter.
Here.
Ms. Height. Here. Mr. Wagner.
Here.
Mr. Greenwood.
Here.
Mr. Braden.
Here, thank you very much. Okay, the first order of business is the review and adoption of meeting agenda. Does anyone have any changes to make to the agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda. Got a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all very much. Okay, the next order of business is the consideration of the February 14th, 2022 joint work session with the Board of Supervisors, the Economic Development Authority, as well as our regular March 1st, 2022 regular meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes, and are there any corrections?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to point out and see what the commission thinks for the March 1st regular meeting. I know we had an amended agenda, and even although it says amended agenda, I was wondering if something needed to be added to include reference to the advertised public hearing for Z0321 for Darrell Kellum Inc. that at the request of the applicant was postponed till June 2022, and therefore was the reason the agenda was amended. I also thought if we should make note that anyone that had come and wanted to speak at the public hearing was encouraged to also to do so during the regular public comment period at this meeting.
Those are two very good additions. So as far as the exact wording, you want to leave that to staff to come up with the exact wording?
Yes, that'll be fine.
Yes, two very important additions. Thank you very much. Do we have any other changes to the either set of minutes?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes for the March 14th and the March 1st regular meeting with the amended comments.
Very good. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all very much, and thank you for that catch. Okay. The next order of business is the public comment period. Individuals have 3 minutes to speak, and those representing groups have 5 minutes to speak on any planning matter. If you wish to speak, please let us know your name and the district in which you reside. We'll have anyone in the room who wants to speak first. Is there anyone online who's registered to speak? Okay, very good. Okay, at this time, I am opening the public comment period. Anybody? Okay, seeing no one in the room and no one having registered, I will close the public comment period. Okay. Next business in order is new business. We have a presentation from the Hampton Road Sanitation District. Ms. Grant, would you?
We have Mr. Kendall on Zoom to do the presentation.
This is Dan.
Oh, he's on there too, Mr.
Daniel.
Is he on there? Okay, Mr. Daniel also with HRSD. Sorry.
Okay, gentlemen.
Good evening. My name is John J. Dano. I'm HRSD's Chief of Planning and Analysis. I was asked by Mr. Hudgens and Mr. Ashcraft to make a statement about HRSD's plan on managing wastewater treatment in King William County. So just a quick overview, HRSD is the Southeast Virginia Regional Wastewater Treatment Provider. We provide wastewater treatment to over 1.7 million people. Our service territory covers 5,000 square miles from King William County down through Virginia Beach and across to the Eastern Shore. Day in and day out, our mission is to protect public health and the waters of Hampton Roads and Eastern Virginia by treating wastewater effectively. And our long-term vision is that future generations will inherit clean waterways and be able to keep them clean. That means we try to do all of our work cost effectively. So HRSD owns and operates 2 treatment plants within King William County, one in the central garage area and one in West Point. HRSD's treatment plant in West Point can treat 600,000 gallons per day. HRSD's treatment plant in central garage can treat 100,000 gallons per day. In 2021, last year, the plant treated an average of 70,000 gallons per day. HRSD is currently making a significant investment in the central garage area. We are in the process of designing and constructing a new wastewater treatment facility to replace the existing treatment plant in the central garage area. The new treatment plant will provide up to 300,000 gallons per day of treatment capacity. The current opinion of probable cost for the wastewater treatment plant is $29 million. Based on our recently received preliminary engineering report, the design is scheduled to be complete next spring, and construction completion is scheduled for March 2025. HRSD is committed to providing wastewater service to the county. The King William treatment plant capacity will be maxed out with the build out of plans that have already been approved. HRSD is continuing to review and approve site plans in parallel with completing the King William treatment plant upgrade project. However, the associated connections will require that the treatment plant expansion be completed. As I mentioned before, the treatment plant expansion project completion date, as shown in our capital improvement plan, was July 2024. However, based on a more detailed evaluation as part of the preliminary engineering report and design effort, right now the construction is estimated to be completed by March 2025. That concludes my statement.
Do the commissioners have any questions for Mr. Dano?
Mr. Chair, I have one question.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Mr. Dano, is the current plant and the future plant, is that a pump and haul or just treated and pumped off in the area?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Is the current plant, 100,000 gallon plant, a pump and haul plant?
I'm having a hard time understanding. Is it?
Is the plant we currently have, is that a pump and haul plant?
Hey, I'm not sure if you can hear me. This is Corey Kendall with HRSD.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I think the question is the current plant, if I'm hearing it correctly, the current plant, the 100,000 gallons per day capacity plant, a pump and haul plant? If I'm hearing that correctly, that question correctly, it is not. We currently receive the flow there and treat the flow there and discharge from there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corey.
Other questions?
I have a couple questions, Mr. Chair. Mr. Dana, what did you say the current usage levels are in the central garage station?
So currently, last year, 2021, the average daily flow was 70,000 gallons per day.
And where would you put us at with the existing growth that we're seeing, the stuff that's already on the books, the hookups that are already planned?
So based on our projections, we are maxed out. You know, we will use up the full 100,000 gallon capacity of the existing treatment plant based on plans that have already been approved.
If I may, we'll max that by when?
Was the question by when?
Yes, you said with the current approvals, we would max that by when do you think we would max out? At the rate we've been growing for the past year, 18 months, when would you expect us to max out? after the March 2025 date or before?
That's a function of how quickly connections are made to the system. So we're not in control of when that is. It's in the,
Understood, but based on the growth of the past 18 months, has it grown from 50,000 to 70,000? If the growth continued over the next 2 years at the rate it has the past 18 months, but would we max that before the March 2025 date or after? And again, if we build faster, it maxes that faster. If we build slower, it maxes that slower. Based on the past 18 months, if that growth continued at that rate, at what point would we max out by your estimation? And recognizing this an estimation.
Corey, do you have a sense of that? I'm not prepared to talk to that.
I would just say maybe to provide guidance on that. Out of the current approved, we've approved from a master plan perspective, 914 units, single family home, apartments, townhomes. And we've received connection requests, individual flow producing physical connections for 60% of that. So we still have another 340 homes to go before we completely build out. So I wish I could predict, I wish I could tell you the number of homes that out of the 600 that we've already approved, the individual connections, how many of those were over the last 18 months, as you say, and then I could, project that way. But hopefully that provides a little bit more. There's about 340 homes yet to be built until we reach back build out.
Okay, thank you.
Corey, in your opinion, are we going to reach capacity well before that March 2025 date, or do you feel that we will be right on time with that? In your opinion, where do we fall on that timeline?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's going to be very close. Depending, with working in parallel with the construction of the plant and the construction of the homes. We obviously are working hand in hand with the home builders and approving connections today. I don't know. It's going to be very close. It's going to be very close.
With that being said, if we have commercial development opportunities that arise over in the near term, let's say the next 6 months, looking at normal timelines on the plannings for those types of developments, would you see any of those being at risk of being denied if we are approaching that capacity before that March 2025 date?
I mean, we're in an effort to make sure that HRSD doesn't halt development or, deny development. We never want to be in that position where we're halting, controlling, driving development. We want to just be able to facilitate the county's needs in regards to, satisfying the development community. We're going to review and approve plans for all projects received by our office. So our hope, I think, is by the time plans are submitted to us, whether it's a residential subdivision or a commercial project, by the time that we finish reviewing those plans, permits are acquired, land disturbance activities are finished, and construction is nearing completion, we will also be nearing completion of our plant upgrade.
If I may, excuse me. We're currently building somewhere over 120 houses per year. So at that rate, we'll be just about hitting on target. Maybe a little sooner.
Other questions? Did I understand you to say that you're doing some things in parallel, which will speed up the process?
Yeah, I think the understanding is we don't think we should, nor do we think it's fair to wait till we, complete the upgrade before we even start the review of project plans. So the parallel piece is we're going to continue to review subdivision plans, site plans, project plans, have the discussions with developers and their representative engineers, and keep those projects moving in that fashion as we design and construct our own CIP project, the plant upgrade.
Thank you. And as you progress, when you run into roadblocks from oversight agencies, yeah, I guess you've worked that with our county administrator to have him and his team assist you whenever possible to keep things moving as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's correct. Percy and Steve, we've worked, we've had several meetings with them already, and we'll probably continue to as things continue down the road.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item up is next item of business is the new business discussion of the transportation corridor overlay requirements. Ms. Grant.
This is something that has come up on several occasions about the type of siding permitted in the TCO. So Christina and I, we worked on a PowerPoint. A lot of the pictures and so forth were obtained online. We did get some pictures local as well. She's pulling it up now. So can we turn it? The intent of the Transportation Corridor Overlay District is to provide for orderly development of the properties along the main primary highways within the county to produce or prevent the congestion in the public streets, provide convenience of access, and to facilitate the creation of a convenient, attractive, and harmonious community. Everything in the TCO district is in addition to other zoning districts, and they shall overlay each other and be in one or more zoning districts. So the new ordinance, it says building exteriors visible from the US Highway 360 or State Highway 30 shall be approved by the zoning administrator. Where before it, listed no plywood, no steel, went into a couple of other things. So the pros of metal siding, you don't have to worry about replacing it for decades. It's highly versatile, can last 75 plus years. There's a wide range of prices and options, different gauge metals to be used. Recyclable, so it's eco-friendly, fire resistant, insect proof, doesn't rot, low maintenance, and it's highly durable and not likely to fade. There are a couple of cons to using metal. If it's scratched and it's not taken care of, it will rust and corrode. That's one thing. And it's hard to find people that know how to install it. That's another. And it can be noisy during storms and so forth. So there's several types of metal siding. And we've got a few examples of the different types that can be used. So when Christina and I were looking at it and looking at pictures, some of the metal siding can be attractive. What they call for is architectural design when using the metal. And so we've got a few examples of the metal that is used in design with the architectural use. They even have it to look like a log house. Didn't know that. And block as well. This is something that we would not want to see, of course. Or this one. Or this one. Or that one. Another one. So this is one that has been in question, that's located in the county. So we did go out and take some pictures today. So it's 50% brick and 50% metal along the front, and then metal on the other three sides. So currently, with it being in the ordinance, that the zoning administrator can approve it administratively right now. What we want to do is be consistent with what we approve or not approve. And of course, you know, we want something to look attractive. So we do want to hear your opinion on this.
Anybody?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I guess I'm the one involved with myself. Back in 2006, the Board of Supervisors developed the transportation corridor overlay ordinance, and the reason they developed that was because of the corrugated metal siding of several buildings in the Aylward area. They felt like it was unattractive. I feel like it's unattractive, particularly the corrugated metal. Some of the flat metal surfaces are not so bad, but that's the thing that bothers me when you say it's scratched. It can rust. And I don't know how to replace that. I just put it in place the way it is without taking that whole siding down. We're looking at making 360 corridor an attractive corridor that will be attractive to people visiting, our residents and everyone. So while I don't have that much of a problem with what's going on, I do have a problem, but what's there now, what's already been put up, it's all in that area where you've got the same types of siding. So I think to try to change anything in that immediate area may be wrong. But for the rest of the corridor, particularly where we've got mixed use development and future commercial development, I do think we need to look at something more attractive types of siding. There are a number of sidings out there, brick being a major one that most people prefer. But there are other types of sidings, concrete board siding, for instance, that do look attractive. But I would also suggest we look at having a review committee to work with you. Could be members of the planning commission, could be members of the community. Thank you.
The main issue that I see with it is just this table here with us, we could have 5 different opinions on what looks good. And so I might think a brick structure looks good over metal or corrugated or hardy plank or what have you, vinyl. But I might differ from other people on this commission or the zoning in the zoning department. I don't know what the solution to that would be, or how we would somehow make it more objectionable or objective parameters. I don't really know what the solution to that would be, but I just know that an opinion of what it looks good would be very difficult to really nail down. So that's my main concern.
Ms. Height, Mr. Greenwood?
I agree with Mr. Sluter that we could all have varying opinions and it would be very difficult to try to specify that without a little more thought going into it and having come to some conclusion. But could I also ask, could you remind me what the landscaping requirements are in the TCO corridor?
What's 25? Do you remember going up? I know we did increase the landscaping. When we were out today, Christina and I actually went out along 360 to look at a few of the buildings right together. And that was one thing we had noticed is the landscaping is not up on the one that's currently under construction. And there was very little landscaping on the ones adjacent to it. So we do need to revisit that because they are required to put lands. They've got that, I think it's 25, but I know we did change it just recently, but not even just along the front, but where it butts up to the houses in the back, they have to have that buffer there as well. So.
It's 25 feet.
The 25 and then an additional 10. And then it's 25 feet with an additional 10 feet along the property's frontage shall be preserved for future road or pedestrian improvements.
What about landscaping and landscaping types? What's the distance between those? And
It does go into that. You want to read it?
So it has a landscape buffer of at least 25 feet in width. Shall be landscape of at least one deciduous tree, at least 2 inches in caliber, measured 6 inches from the ground when planted with branching no closer than 5 feet to the ground, or one evergreen tree at least 6 feet in height when planted for each 50 feet of linear frontage, as well as at least one shrub at least 18 inches in spread when planted for each 30 feet of lineal frontage planted and maintained at 24 inches in height or lower, and other ground coverage reasonably dispersed throughout the buffer.
we don't want complete coverage. We don't want a buffer, but rather landscaping, attractive landscaping. I do have a problem when we say 2 inches measured 6 inches from the ground. That's nothing. We really need to revisit that. Most plans that I have seen have been 4 inches at 4 feet, at chest height. 4 feet.
Do you have anything to add to this?
If I could make a recommendation, something we're looking at with the historic board and we've been working on, and they have to look at architectural features. And we kind of took it from when I was in Suffolk. And when you're looking at architectural features and something you can be consistent with is to set some standards. And along with those standards is when you're looking at it, if you have standards in place, when applications come in, if you're doing an administrative review, you have to abide by those standards. So if you decide on what those standards are when it comes into the zoning office, then we have to abide by those. So if the board as a whole sets those in place, then when I'm looking at those, then that would work. So that may be something that you want to consider.
Yes. Others? Yes, I've got the utmost confidence in you, Ms. Graham, but that's putting an undue burden on you to make those sorts of decisions. We've come across a few other modifications we need to make to the ordinance. And so I think we are comfortable with you coming up with proposed sightings. We had the old ordinance had a list of sightings we could revisit and reincorporate those as as is, or modify them as you think for the draft, and we can reconsider all of it. So if you would add that to your to-do list for the ordinance. As far as the siding itself, they are in compliance with current zoning ordinance.
with the current.
Okay. So,
Well, it leaves it to the zoning administrator to approve it.
The
So
old ordinance said no metal siding, but the new ordinance.
that
puts
it
to
allows
your
it.
Discretion.
At the approval of the zoning administrator. So when we're out there today, and like you said, you know, it's 3 buildings in a row. They all pretty much have the same type of siding. At this point, you know, I feel like he's in line with what's currently there. I think the biggest thing, you don't want to see in a storage unit, which is what we have, you know, on 3 different parcels all across the 360.
which is something else I think the Hill Group was recommending that we take a look at that sort of thing as well. So they're not in violation of the ordinance. However, we need to probably look at it. So if you would add that to the list of things and come up with proposals for what you think we should allow, and that will make our job a whole lot easier. Y'all agree with that?
We will work on that.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask one more question? I'm curious. What is the purpose of that building?
It is offices in the front with a storage area in the back.
What kinds of businesses have expected to attract?
Anything that's allowed in the B2, I think it's B2, don't hold me to it, it could be B1.
Yes.
But anything that is permitted in that district, can go in there. What I can see going in there with the way it's set up is like an HVAC company that needs an office, but they also need storage area in the back for their units and their ductwork and that type of thing.
Right.
Don't really see like a beauty shop or anything like that going in there, but contractor offices that need both. They need a storefront or an office front, and then they can have storage in the back as well. We're kind of envisioning maybe bringing some of the changes to our ordinance June or July after we get the comp plan through, if that works for everyone.
Which brings us to our next business item, and that is the old business, the comprehensive plan update. So you walked away, but you were back up again.
So we had sent this out to y'all. This is the most recent draft that Hill Studio sent us. And Barbara put them in nice new books for us. And all of the changes are supposed to be incorporated that she received from everyone, and including the public meeting that was held, that was incorporated. And there too, will also have the changes on the sheets to make it a little easier to find. So I guess at the end of the night, if everybody is good with everything, or there's a few more little tweaks that we need to do, I would like to have a public hearing with the planning commission on May 3rd.
Right, I was going to ask for a motion along those lines, if you think we're comfortable. Questions for Ms. Graham? Go ahead. Report. So yes,
I have no questions, but I think Hill Group has done an excellent job.
They
on
have.
this. They have covered the community very well. Worked with our stakeholders and staff and planning commission, and I think they've come up with an excellent report. So,
They've been very good to work with.
yes. Do I agree with everything in the plan? No, but this is not my plan. This is the county plan. We had over 600 different folks weigh in on it, as well as multiple meetings, as well as emails and letters. Input from a lot of folks, and I think the Hill Group did just a fantastic job, and I'm excited to move forward with it. And I thank you all for what you did with the plan, and certainly the Hill Group. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to request Ms. Graham to schedule the planning commission public hearing on Blueprint 2041 King William County Comprehensive Plan for our May 3rd meeting. Would anyone like to make that motion?
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. motion to have a public hearing at our May 3rd meeting. We have a second. I think it's seconded by acclamation. All in favor. Actually, this being a public hearing, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Height,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner,
To have the public hearing.
Yes. Oh, I didn't hear you.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Greenwood,
Aye.
Mr. Sluter.
Aye.
Mr. Breeden.
Aye, thank you very much. You can schedule a public hearing. Appreciate it. All righty. The next one is business in order or special reports. Mrs. Grover, please.
So you have before you the March 2022 zoning and violation reports. Once again, we fell at the end of the month. Before this meeting, unfortunately, Andy and I were in training last week. I was in training all day. And so I will leave you to review them. And if you have questions as you look through them this week, please feel free to ask myself or Sherry if you have any questions. Same reports as we've had in the past. Debbie has worked through with Edmund, so I think you're going to start seeing the building reports. They figured out why they weren't able to populate a lot of those. And so going forward, you will start to see the building reports. So we're happy that they've been able to work on the reports and be able to populate those. The violation ones you'll see in detail once again. So you'll see the updates on the ones we've been working on in the past with updates where we are currently on those. You'll notice one that we've been working on for the last several months, and I won't bring about the address, but it is here on King William Highway that we've been working on with the owner, and she's been very good to work with. It's considerable progress, and we're still working on it. There's several that we've been working and we've been able to gain progress on. You'll see those in the notes. So if you have, again, any questions as you look through the reports, just feel free to give me a call and ask. There'll probably be a couple days again this week where Andy and I are in mandatory code training online. We are in the office and we do take breaks, but we are online doing the mandatory code training. So please feel free to give us a call. So if you have any questions now, please feel free to ask me or going forward.
Any questions for Ms. Grover?
Just,
Go ahead.
didn't know what the little shack at the old, people might not know, the old mill right there at 360 where there was a sawmill there. But it looked like, I don't know if they moved the shack over. It looks like they tore everything off of it. I don't know if they moved it and they're rebuilding it, but I was wondering what that's for. Do they have a permit for that? Or? It's, I don't know, you might not know, but this is either the old Dairy Queen, but it's the building, was right next to the funeral home. Funeral home's there, the Dairy Queen, and then the mill was next to it. They have a bunch of septic tanks out there now, business there. The thrift store used to be there, but that little shack that was there was all falling down and it was in the field, and they moved it a little and redone it. When does it put the strange shaped fence around it?
I think
Just
that's
curious.
going to be the cold store. I think that's the one that you're referring to. So
Okay.
yes, they do have permit.
It's just curious. Okay, thank you very much.
But it's the same one that you.
It probably is. Cold store. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course. Anything else? Thank you, Ms. Grover.
Yes, sir.
Okay, time for commissioner comments. We'll start this in with Dale.
Really, the main thing I've got is with the comp plan, you know, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel with it finally, and I've been speaking with people in the community about it, and I've been getting very positive feedback and consistent feedback. Everybody has, they know that there's going to be some commercial growth coming to the county, hopefully, anyway. So, but they're reiterating that, you know, they want to see responsible, quality businesses, you know, quality jobs coming to the county that bring up that, you know, bring tax revenue. It seems everybody's on board with that from our recognition to the EDA and Board of Supervisors. So I think it's good to see that everybody's kind of on the same page with that. And you know, along those lines and the other enhancements to the community through mixed use areas and so forth, I think we have an opportunity to bring people here to spend money here, and that's what we need. So we don't need them to live here necessarily, but it would be nice to have people coming here as a destination because we have a lot to offer as a county.
Mr. Slater, Mr. Wagner?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions for Sherry, from Ms. Graham. The last BZA case on Dover Road was approved. However, it appears the applicant proposes to conduct a commercial operation out of this 40 by 50 building. The property is on AC. Has the applicant been advised the property will need to be rezoned to be one for the business?
This is something that we are working on. He had a home occupation done years ago for that type of business. However, it does not fall under the regulations for home occupation. So we've done a little research on it. We will be getting in touch with them on some things, but we want to get all of our homework done first.
Okay. At the same BZA meeting, they also approved the reduction in the frontage on that 360 from 100 feet to 65 feet. There's also some easements on that area. Doesn't appear to me, and I've talked to you before about this, but it doesn't appear to me that's a good site for access to that property. But what are the next steps with that property?
He has the property for sale and he has a prospective buyer. If that goes through, then he will have to submit a site plan and it'll come before y'all to do a review. It's not a public hearing, but it is for a review. He still has to meet all the TCO requirements. With this, I think they are proposing to be able to also use the Valero site. There's an access going to the Valero site and an access as well going through to Sharon. So the 360 entrance is not the only entrance that will be available to them.
Thank you. And with that, thanks to the usual crowd for showing up tonight. But more than that, I really appreciate the work you three are doing, trying to keep us abreast of everything. And I guess the other question I would have is, what else do we have? Can you share with us what else we may have coming up?
Not anything new. I've got several things that they're resubmitting site plans for with the changes. Sweet Sue, I expect that to probably get started in another month or so. They do have to have their permits in hand and be ready to start by July 1. So they're really pushing that. Dollar General just resubmitted their site plan. If we get everything through with that, I expect that to start very soon. They did tell me, I think 4 months, start to finish on that. So that's pretty quick. Highview has just submitted a new set of plans. I have not looked at it yet. We just got those in. Let me think. A couple of really slight revisions in Macaulay Park. I've not looked at those. What else am I missing? Barbara, that's come in the last week or so.
Gotten plans up for Central Crossing.
Central Crossing. But that's not new. That was something that was approved a long time ago. They're just doing it in sections. And we have the Dollar General, we have Highview. Am I missing any? The storage unit. Yeah. So there's off of Sharon Road, there's some storage units, and they're doing an addition to the storage units. And it's down a private road, it's down off of Sharon. I don't see any problems, so probably within a week or so, that should be ready to go.
And that's in that industrial area.
Mhm.
On 360, two properties down from where the property is that we were talking about this evening from Ann Lane. I see they're grading that out, looks like a pad site. What is proposed there? Do you have anything on that?
I haven't seen anything come through.
I'm sorry, where is that, Mr. Wyman?
Just past where we were at today. Down a little bit further. We haven't gotten anything through on that. Haven't seen anything from commercial side.
They've been working on that for some time. And looks like they've
We'll
been
check
doing a lot of
into it.
grading, but it looks like now they're getting ready to start some kind of construction.
We'll check into it, but I'm not aware of anything offhand.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Mr. Greenwood.
Thanks. One thing about the Cummins, they've got a few people online, a few people in the audience. Some thanks staff. Like I said, the Wales done a wonderful job. These reports are great. The packet comes to us on time, very informative. So all the information's there. Hill Group especially, they're great too. Finally, like Mr. Bean said, we're finally getting on the plan that we've been waiting for 12, probably over 12 years now. So that's good. And, so I thank the board here too for working with y'all, that everybody seems to work good together, so just like the board supervisor, everybody seems to get along good now, so. And I do, Mr. Ray, I think I saw that site you had too, I saw it too, it looks like they have a retaining pond in the middle, and it's about a grading around it.
Well, they've graded out.
Yeah,
Graded
I've
out.
seen that too, it's up,
Almost
raised
look
up,
like a new pad site.
it does, I didn't know what that was either, so. Just curious about that one too. That's all I have, thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Height.
As most everyone on the commission has already said, thanks to everyone who has attended, both in person and online. And thank you, Sherry and staff, for all that you do. The reports are very valuable with all the information that's been added. So thank you for that. And the binder for our updated comp plan looks wonderful. So thank you for that. And that's
Thank
all
you.
I have.
And my first comment is for the planning commissioners. I think probably 4 of the 5 of us have been to the planning commission training. I'm not sure if all of you all have or not. It doesn't cost anything to us. There's actually money that is funded back from a source that covers the training. It's very good training. I don't think Mr. Chandler does it anymore.
He doesn't.
He was fantastic. He forgot more than I would ever know. So, but the current folks do a good job as well. So anybody who's not been, I encourage you to attend. And thank you for letting us know about that, Ms. Graham. Over 600 citizens weighed in on the comp plan. The Hill Group did a fantastic job. You folks, Ms. Grover, Ms. Graham, and all you folks have done a great job. Thank you, fellow commissioners, for the good work that you've done. Got 2 major milestones behind us now, the zoning ordinance, and hopefully in a few weeks, the comp plan will see for supervisors, where I hope it will be received well. Still got a lot of work to do, but we've had a very successful 2 years. Thank you all for that. So without any further ado, I will adjourn the meeting unless there's objections. So are you all okay with adjourning the meeting? Okay. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.